Hey there, sports fans. Today is day one of working on my Teardrop camping trailer. I've chosen to have the base be this aluminum utility trailer that I got locally here in Idaho. It's made by Aluma. I believe the model number is a 5410, and it just means it's 54 inches wide by 10 feet long, which I think will probably be perfect for my needs. I have had this outside for quite a bit, and I will be spending some time cleaning up the leaves and all the debris that's on there right now. Also taking off these utility hooks and making a nice flush surface with that. After all of that is done, I will be coating it with this Henry's 100% silicone Tropicool. This thing is good for 30 some plus years, and it only takes one coat, and that'll be to seal the floor so that from the underside any kind of road debris when I'm traveling down the highway and it's raining isn't gonna seep up in there. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna get started, and let's get to work. Quick side note, I haven't decided how I'm gonna attach these scissor jacks yet. So for right now, on each of the four corners, all I did was set it in there so that I can start working. Probably what I'll do is create a thread in this aluminum and then just screw it in that way. I might even come from this underside and maybe have some type of a carriage bolt that then comes through, and then I can take a nut and screw it on that way. Or vice versa, carriage bolt to nut on the back side since I have access. But for right now, those are on all four corners. These will be the scissor jacks that I use for the trailer in the future. They're just not attached with hardware at this point. Okay, for this portion, I'm going to be using a wooden metal blade with my quarter cable oscillating multi-tool. I got this thing on some internet super special, and it got really good reviews. It's really easy to change the blade. As you can see, you just push down on this. For any kind of metal or shaving, grinding, chipping away work, drilling work, really recommend something kind of full face like this. They sell this also with the anti-fog one. That's not what's on there, but that's what I'll be replacing this eventually with. You can always do the treatment on the inside if you don't have that, or you wanted to save a little bit of money. Since I can't use the big earmuffs, I'm just going to be using the in the ear canal ones for this project. Yeah, and I'll also be using gloves because you can never be too safe. I really should have been wearing a dust mask the whole time. I didn't think about it until my nostrils started getting irritated and I was like blowing my nose. But make sure you wear a mask too. And eye protection. And ear protection. Safety! Okay, now I'm going to come back and use the sanding attachment for this tool and just clean up everything that I trimmed off with that metal blade. Okay, now I'm done sanding, and I have a fairly smooth surface. And then I went through and I vacuumed everything up with my shop vac. Now I'm going to come through. I've got some warm water with Simple Green, and I'm just going to take my little car washing mitt and wipe down the surface. It'd be nice if I could just take it outside and pressure washer it all off, but I'm in the dead of winter. It's the middle of February. So I'm just going to wipe it dry with my towel, and then I'll come back through and probably rinse it twice with clean, clear water. Okay, I think I'm going to do the same thing, but again with the rinse, and just use a new towel every time. And that's the best I can do right now. Alright, we'll just let it air dry. Peace. Okay, now that everything's all cleaned off, I'm left with a couple holes on each end of the trailer. I would imagine that this is for drain holes because this is the front of the trailer, and the back would just kind of roll off. So they created these little drain holes. So I need to fill them so that when I put my silicone roofing sealant over it, it doesn't just all drain down. So I'm going to be using JB Weld. I thought about actually taking brazing aluminum rods and brazing to fill the holes, but one, I just don't think that that's necessary. There'll be a piece of wood over this, and then that sealant. I just need something to kind of fill that gap. I thought about also even just doing some aluminum, or excuse me, some silicone caulking, but again, this is just kind of a happy medium between the two, I think. So I'm going to take some rubbing alcohol and clean up this underside here, just so that my Gorilla Tape will stick. And I'll probably just even leave that Gorilla Tape in place because it'll offer a little bit more protection. I'll just kind of clean up this top side too. This has already been cleaned, of course, and also sanded, so it should adhere quite well. Great, now I'm just going to mix up my epoxy. Okay, I've given the JB Weld some time to dry so that I can put this silicone sealant over top of it. I also have to, besides these lips here, there's some corner pieces here that I'll have to seal, and also towards the front of the trailer. Ever since I found these little red caps, I've been a big fan. You just use them to seal the tops of your caulking tube, and it holds really well. You can reuse it. It's awesome. Okay, I have all of my supplies, including my super fluffy nap roller. It helps speed cleanup. I'm going to be using this press and seal. It just barely is wide enough, so what I'm going to do is make 2 layers. And this is superior to saran wrap because it has that sticky adhesive side. And so it really helps to let that paint kind of roll off, whereas if you were to use like a plastic bag or just regular saran wrap, it tends to get sticky and want to pull. Where this, because it has that adhesive property, it should stay. I've used it before in the past and it does stay. Okay, and then the directions for this is to stir, mix it very well. So I've got my little big red drill auger hooked up to my drill, so we'll pop this off. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get gloves on. Well, all right. You know, I think I'm just gonna skip the pan and just go to town.